Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Force for Growth show. And it's Wednesday, so it's hump day. So you know what's coming. Hashtag hump over your hurdle. I'm going to switch it up this week. So put whatever big, hairy, scary thing you're putting off or procrastinating in the comments, and then tell us when you've done it, or just get it
Ooh,
done until it's done. That's all we want to see. And if you're struggling, tell us why. Maybe we can help.
yeah.
Yeah, but get it out of the way. Done
I
is
think
better
one
than
of the
perfect.
biggest hurdles maybe somebody might be having right now is reaching out to that family member that you haven't spoken to in some time.
Yep.
It's the perfect time to do that. Hashtag
Yep.
hump
Hump
over your
over your
hurdle.
hurdle. Yep. Here's a nudge.
Whew.
We love you. They love you. Yep. Feed the love.
And everyone
Pour the
loves
love.
each other.
Mhm.
What's today's topic, Courtney?
Today's topic is expectations. And
Ooh,
I think it's ironic how excited I get about this subject.
it is.
We're about to
Why?
shred it into pieces. But yeah, expectations. So,
Why are you so excited, Courtney?
because it's a trick, it's a trap. And a lot of our struggles fall under this hat, but it's hard to see it. But when you see it and you see how expectations can be leading your life astray from what you want, it gets clear and you can see the path. So for me, at least, that's how I view it and what expectations did for me. But we're going to break it down for you. So, yeah, what do you think about expectations before we get started?
Expectations really come into play right now, especially and sometimes these expectations get met and sometimes they don't.
Hmm.
So
Have you
it,
ever
it, it,
heard?
it is a trick though. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's one I wanted to. So the quote, expectations are premeditated resentments. And
Ooh,
Anne Lamott said that. So have you ever heard that, or
I
what are your
have
thoughts
not.
on that?
Premeditated resentments
Yes.
because you expect something from somebody. They're not even aware that you have this expectation set on them and they may not necessarily meet it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The one that really kind of hit me in the face a few years ago and why I became a fan of Kyle Cease is because on his episode of Impact Theory that he was on, he said, they didn't break your heart, they broke your expectations. And that was really a key for me to understand a lot in my life, a lot. And yeah, so just comment. Let us know what you're thinking right now or what are your initial thoughts on expectations? But
That's a big distinction because it's always, especially the younger that you are, oh, they broke my heart. This person broke my heart. What's the other one? This person really let me down.
mhm,
They always let me down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because we hold these expectations on people.
mhm. And
So
it is I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to ask you, what is one expectation that you have about people? A global expectation. Let's call it a global expectation because I believe we do have these global expectations that are blanket expectations that we just generally have about people. What's one of yours, Courtney?
I have okay, a few came to my brain, but one that everyone needs love and everybody wants to give love.
Mm,
So whether how different somebody is, and then just everyone wants to do their best. Everyone is trying to do their best. They still don't know what they're doing. Like you find the top expert in an industry, they're probably still just winging it, and figuring out as
yeah.
they go. So kind of holding those close reminds me I don't have to show up every day perfect. I don't have to show up as anything. I just need to consistently keep showing up. And by default, I'll get better. I'll get, the growth, the skills, the whatever I need to make this happen. It will happen if I keep showing up. But it's really, I don't know, like let's say you go into a new job or new relationship and you never have a talk about expectations or you never have a talk about the blueprint or the game plan or I don't know, just what have you been through, and we end up putting this our blueprint on somebody else and then we're so angry when they don't match it
Yes.
and we judge them,
And
we
they don't
blame
even
them.
know. And they don't even know
Correct.
that you're playing by that game plan or that blueprint. That's the worst part.
Hmm.
So we're having these expectations that they're going to do this, do that, do this. And then when it comes time, they don't.
Right. Yeah. And then if you ever do talk it through with that person, what does the resolved conversation always involve? You expected this, or you thought I meant this by that act and this. And so when you're laying your blueprint on somebody else, it's not always a bad thing, but it sets you up for the odds are not in your favor, but the odds are
No,
on the side of you're probably going to be disappointed by something.
most likely. I agree.
Mhm. Yeah.
Real quick, Jessie says one of the expectations that she has is that everyone is decent. That's
Mhm.
a huge global expectation.
Yeah.
One of mine is I expect everyone to tell the truth and not lie.
Mhm.
So when I catch someone in a lie, it really just eats me up. Like it eats me up. Like I'm like, why would they lie about that? That's ridiculous that people are lying about this or that or the other.
Mhm. It is. And it's interesting because then you get to know that person who feels like they need to hide this side of their personality as part of their blueprint so you'll accept them, or lie about something blatantly so you'll accept them. So it all comes back to they want love. They're not meeting it in a healthy way. I'm not defending that, but the point is you're chasing after what you want or applying these expectations to get you closer to something, and it just might not be an effective formula.
Ooh, that's a really great point because what's step number one on creating lasting change?
It get to know.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate and understand their world. So
Mhm.
if someone is lying, in my case, that's my biggest one. If someone is lying and they're caught in a lie, then there's something going on there that they feel that they have to overcompensate for.
Mhm.
And that's actually kind of sad.
It is. Yeah.
Aw.
A lot of this is it's it's somebody showing you their blueprint or their struggles or their trauma without knowing they're showing it to you when you learn to read this. But most importantly, it's learning to read it in yourself, because that is where it absolutely comes down to like just when you set out on something, analyze your expectations, have a talk with the teammate about your expectations, tell them what your expectations are, ask them what theirs are. And
Question.
yes,
So is it necessarily bad to have expectations or to continue hanging on to the people that continuously and religiously let down and don't meet those expectations?
okay, so my brain kind of was like, that's a loaded question, because it
It is.
does depend on the root of it. So this might be an area you need to help this person work through this, and you have something to offer to help them heal this or change their perspective. But then, yeah, there's a whole lot of that's just a sign they're not meant to be. They're not your person. They're not your tribe. Get away. They're toxic. And if it causes an adverse reaction in your body that you dread being around this person, or you are just constantly on edge, that is that toxic person. That is that. But if there's something still pulling you, there's something there. I don't know who said it, but somebody told me in my life there are 3 reasons people show up in your life: a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so when you think of it in that term, okay, either this person was sent to teach me a terrible lesson or a beautiful, loving lesson, right? Maybe we're the ones that's wrong. Maybe we're the ones that need to go through the massive growth at that time. And they're actually sent as a God sent to you. So you wake up. It might be the opposite. So you need to really kind of understand who came into your life for a reason, who came into your life for a season, and who came into your life for a lifetime. And I really feel like when you're in touch with yourself, that's a lot easier to read versus somebody who may be struggling with that right now.
Hmm.
But the so many things fall under this category. Like okay, so just the ones I jotted down real quick: communication, judgment, comparison, insecurity, lack of self-love, lack of confidence, and lack of self-esteem. All of these come from expectations.
It does. And to the second part to that is if you're if you're hanging on to somebody and they continually let down one of your big expectations that you have about people, and you know they're going to let you down, and you know that they're not going to meet that expectation or they rarely ever meet it, and you separate, and then you're still hanging on to that person mentally, even though they're not really in your life anymore, you're still hanging on to them. That's also not bad. That's not a good thing.
Right. Yeah. And it's ironic that what you expect to happen generally is what happens. So I'm not
Oh
going to do
yeah.
woo woo or anything or insert big monologue about thoughts become things, but do the math. But when you rehearse something in your brain over and over, or you're just telling yourself that person will always be this pattern over and over and over, you're probably right. It just, you're entering into a situation and you just are laying this, well, I know this is going to happen. So you're actually drawing a lot of energy to that situation forming and being created. So that's where it's very powerful as well to just not give any mental space to that. Like, just it's hard, yeah, but be where your feet are. Let it go. Like, okay, that person's staring at me funny and probably thinks I look funny, or I don't know, do I have booger in my nose? Like all these insecure thoughts that we think, they might be right. They might be thinking that. So what? Keep going. And
Yes.
that's one of the hardest lessons, but it's the most profound. It has been for me. It's just that none of that has anything to do with my mission. None of it. And that there's your business, God's business, and their business. Yours is only 1/3 of that.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Real quick, let's go to the comments. Liliana says you have to let them go so you can grow.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Leon, I love that. Yeah.
Great comment.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Mr. Levy Jackson.
Hey, Livy.
Expectations are unrealistic goals that we set on others or ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Oh,
true.
I did see. Okay, I wrote this one down. Unspoken expectations are guaranteed to go unfulfilled. So thank you, Livy. The power of, or you use the word unrealistic. And so when you speak it and have that conversation with somebody, you make it more and more and more realistic. Whereas if you never speak it or vocalize it and tell somebody what your expectations are, ask them what theirs are, it's going to be unrealistic because it's a guessing game at that point. And when two different humans play a guessing game with each other, like what are the chances that's going to match up perfectly?
None.
You got
Or
two
very
different
low.
blueprints on life. You got two different lifetimes lived. You got so many different things going on. But I mean, granted, well, pun intended, there are exceptions to every rule, right? So like everything we're saying, there are some situations where it's not going to hold true for everything. But overall, we're doing it wrong.
One thing that just occurred to me is the majority of the time, and I'm speaking for myself, when I have an expectation that somebody's going to do something or that someone's going to be a certain way and they continuously don't meet that expectation, I still get surprised. I can't believe they did that. And then if I go back and look at the history of the friendship or the history of the relationship, this is their pattern. This is what they typically do or don't do. But yet every single time I'm still surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't believe that they did that.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I can see, well, I relate a little bit, but you really go deeper on this in that you see people for their potential. You don't necessarily always see the person and the stage they're at right in front of you. And me included, you saw me for my potential. And so kind of when you started, like when we did become closer friends, and I finally did open up to you and vice versa, like that's what I saw, is you saw something in me that was kind of like, okay, Courtney, what you do have to say is important. Like the world needs to hear your, blah, blah, blah. So that's what you see when you look at somebody, but it's not a bad trait. Like it's not, that's kind of the gray area of this topic, is it's not a bad thing to see the best in people.
I get surprised and other people around me are like, duh. Like, this. And I'm like, yeah, I still expected more from that person.
Yeah. When it happened last year and last week and last month too,
Liana, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right.
I say it Liana, but yeah.
Liana is bringing it.
Say it with a accent. Yeah.
Liana is bringing it. It's because you have hope in your heart that they will grow.
Yes. Amen, sister. Yeah.
That is so good.
You were on point today. Yeah, she's good. I need to go visit her. I borrowed her Barbie sweatshirt for my costume for Halloween at the office. She's the brown Barbie. Yeah, it's cute. She has a cute page. Anyway, but I love her. Yeah, it's big. It's big. And
what else do you have? What other thoughts do you have of expectations? Let's go deeper. I know you have some notes.
You can also use this formula for good. Like you can set an expectation and follow the pattern for positive things too. So that's kind of my overall point of all this, is that I want you to realize what's causing a lot of your suffering, just like Buddha said. In fact, yes, I did write it down and make a note. So Buddha's Four Noble Truths from that speech he gave. The first is to live involves suffering. The second is the origin of suffering is attachment, aka expectations. And then third, the end of suffering is attainable. And then the fourth step is the path to end suffering, which are his eightfold path steps, which you can look up Buddha's eightfold path steps, which I was reading on that this morning. It's fascinating. So if you want a formula, there's a Buddhist one, but basically when you're attached to an outcome having to be a certain way, for good or bad, it creates a lot more potential for you to be let down. And I'm not saying don't go after that outcome. By all means, do that, but just know that steps are going to change along the way. Things are, you're going to lose your direction list and have to calibrate it. So there's just so many things that are curveballs that will be thrown at you. Whereas if you're okay just showing up, hey, I might never see this person again or work with this person. And you know what? That's okay, because we don't really mix. We aren't a great mix. But for this time that I'm working with you, I'm going to learn as much as I can. So the lessons learned. I never have to repeat it again. And I can add gratitude and appreciation for that, even though it wasn't a rosy situation that you're sitting there all happy while you're sitting through it. So when you're very present and when you have your eyes open and keep your eyes open and understand that it's okay to be flexible, but still run full force towards your goal. And you can literally kind of see how your brain ticks with these expectations, with your blueprint, and then learn how you can edit the blueprint to be a really empowering one, and then lay that one on people, and then Ricardo does this, empower people who aren't expecting it. Like, oh, well, you asked me that question. Well, now I have to think of 10 reasons why I'm capable, So you can also use it for good, but I can't exactly tell you that because I'm me, So
and then that would be putting your blueprint on somebody else.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be effective if I tell you what to do. But if you just sit with this and look at it, like I give you permission to look at it, you're not wrong. You wanted the best. You want the best out of everyone you're around. That's a great trait. But we've got to stop setting yourself up for resentment and disappointment.
Wanting and wishing the best for someone that you're around and everyone that's around you, and expecting them to act a certain way like you would, is two totally different things.
Mm-hmm. And when they veer off what you assumed should have happened, just take a step back and be like, okay, that's my blueprint, applying that. And you'll honestly get a peek into somebody's mind, into their soul in that moment, because instead of judging them for doing this thing you never would do, or judging them because you think they're an idiot and why would they ever do that or whatever, you're looking at them and seeing, okay, something in them has to hide this, or has to feel like they need to raise up to this, or they don't feel like they're enough right there. So there's thousands of reasons, but
one thing that you can remember is that everyone is doing the best that they can with the resources that they currently have available to them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What are you thinking, Ricardo?
I don't know. I wasn't expecting you to ask me that. For me, I'm thinking that, okay, I do have expectations on people. I have these global expectations on people that I expect people to be a certain way. And to me, it's just human common courtesy. Do you see how powerful that is for me when I'm saying it's human common courtesy? Mm-hmm. It's human common courtesy to be polite. It's human common courtesy to tell the truth. It's human common courtesy to be this certain way. But the truth is that it's not. It's not. I shouldn't make it a human quality for people to be honest and tell the truth and to have integrity. That's just a big old formula for disappointment, distress, and turmoil in my own head.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It just is. I can't have those kinds of global expectations.
Mm-hmm. And it's not wrong. Like, it's not wrong to expect humans to be good humans, but the point is, the answer's in the sentence, good humans, that's exactly. Your map you've built, and it's just not always going to match people around you.
So the only thing I can do is find good humans to hang out with, I find all I can do is find good humans to hang out with, find humans that have integrity, find humans that want to grow. That and those are the people that I go hang out with, because if they're already there and they already have those inhibitions or that drive to be that way, or that drive to improve on that quality, then that's the people that I need to be surrounding myself with.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how you do it. You pivot. You don't second guess your ability to pick friends. You don't blame yourself because this one person said they would RSVP to a meeting and didn't show up. You aren't sitting there sulking, which we've all had those moments where we've done that. And that was a lesson. That's not how we're going to go about the rest of our lives. So it's just the good humans are hiding. Jesse said the good humans are hiding. That's funny.
And you know what though? That is a great point, that Jesse's saying the good humans are hiding. But it's right here at the tip of my tongue. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
If it's true that the good humans are hiding, that just means we have to work that much harder to find them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It doesn't mean they don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. It just means that the people who are looking for these good humans to hang out with might give up. And that's why when you find some good humans, it's typically a smaller group than a huge group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just big. I remember we talked about, I don't remember where this was, but crisis rehearsal. So when I went through, good humans are out there. Thank you, Enrique.
He's a good human. Enrique's a good human.
I think everyone that's commented is a really good human.
I think so too. I think we're showing the good human side.
Yeah.
Humans are good humans.
You don't have to be perfect to be a good human.
No.
It's how you consistently show up. So it's not that mistake you made last week, last year, 20 years ago. And if you're still running those loop in your head, you're doing it wrong. We love you, but you're doing it wrong. And it's not meant to imprison you. It's meant to show you and highlight where you're still weak and need to grow, where you're strong and you're, good to go. I can't not rhyme with that.
And so, Courtney, we're heading into the holiday season. Literally today, tomorrow is the official start of the holiday season for 2020. Again, that means hanging out with family, maybe not hanging out with family the way you traditionally do. How can people let go of those expectations when they're around family that they haven't seen in a while, or that they might have some turmoil from the past?
Just good will come from any kind of connection or communication. So whether that is just picking up the phone and calling that person, whether that is talking to that person you usually avoid at the family gathering, whatever it is to you, is big or small, like let that be up to you, because we actually want you to do it. We don't want you to be overwhelmed. But it's things like if, Uncle Joe always gets drunk at Thanksgiving and acts a fool, instead of expecting him to stay sober, just know Uncle Joe, look at the pattern, and don't get angry when it veers off from the pattern. No, what am I trying to say? Just know that you can help if you're just there with that person. They don't have to match your blueprint. They don't have to do what you think. You don't have to agree with their lifestyle. You're going to be around more people that you do because they're your tribe and you tend to attract people like you. But just expect, it sounds terrible, expect the worst. No. Expect that it could go either way, and then just be grateful when it, any good comes out of it. You had a good conversation. You caught up with Aunt May, great. Those are good achievements and good things. So just try to feed those instead of feeding the resentment.
Jesse says Uncle Joe
is a fictional character, by the way.
Jesse says Uncle Joe can come over anytime. Wine glass, champagne glass. One of my things is that I have to be very conscious and aware of it for myself, is not to have negative or bad expectations when I'm going to a family gathering. Like, oh, this person's always going to do this. Oh, this person's always going to do that. Oh, this person's always going to do X, Y, Z. And because the minute that you start thinking about what this person may or may not do based on the past, then you're already on guard.
And your reticular activating system, your RAS, is hyper sensitive to seeing those details
Correct. Correct.
that
And they'll
match
be
up with the prior pattern.
and they'll be bigger than what they really are. It'll be like, oh, I knew she was gonna do that. Oh, I knew he was gonna be that way. Oh, I knew that Uncle Joe was gonna say something stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's okay. That's fine. But if you go in there already what's the word? Reminit
Reminiscing, resentment,
no.
resenting. No.
Yeah. Rementing about something for 3 days before the event, and you're already thinking about this for 3, 4, 5 days, like, oh, next week, 4 days, in 3 days, in 2 days. You know,
Yeah.
that's not going to work out for you.
Yeah, not at all. And Jesse just left a great comment. Let's see. The past is behind you. Let's focus on what's in front of us, the future, not what's behind us, the past. Yes. And like
That's what she typically says to me, because I'm usually the one who's like,
Yeah, it's just, and it's like, okay, so let's keep using Uncle Joe. So it's like Uncle Joe shows up, hugs everyone, says hello. Like, he could not be doing anything wrong yet, but because he's walking to the fridge to get a beer, you're already pissed off because you're like, oh, he's doing it again, So that's what we want to highlight, is that resentment is wasted energy. You can't do anything good with that resentment for others, for yourself. Like, it's not doing you any service. So yeah, he might get drunk. Okay. Like,
so what?
Get him a pillow and a couch ready. I don't know. Like, you're grateful that he wasn't too drunk to not show up, So I'm not saying like let it slide. I'm not saying like put up with crappy humans, but by all means, stop setting yourself up for resentment. It's kind of the whole forgiveness principle. The forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. This is the exact same idea we're talking about. It's just kind of in the
and you know what? We're also not telling you to put up with crappy humans for a lifetime.
Right. Yes.
It's just a few days.
Yeah. But learn the lesson so you stop attracting that same type. You stop making it happen, because really your expectations are playing a role in these things playing out. Even though that person's responsible for themselves, you are still walking into the same situation over and expecting different results, which is the definition of insanity. So,
boom.
Yes.
This was good, Courtney.
Yes.
This was good, Courtney.
Thank you for letting us do this topic. Yeah.
This was an interesting topic, especially going off into the holidays. We're going to be hanging around people, or maybe, or not. Who knows? I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But it's important to not have these expectations. It's important for me to not have expectations on my son. And that's a daily thing.
That's a big one. That's a hard one, because you want good standards for your children. However, don't lay your expectations of blueprint on them.
Oh, it's so hard though.
Who they are though. I know. I'm owning this as a non-parent yet. Like, can't give the same advice to my animals. I can't. I'll learn one day.
Oh man. Jesse says our family isn't crappy humans. It's our expectations that are crappy.
Yes. And when you stop thinking they aren't matching your blueprint, or when you stop, I don't know, you just can open your eyes and see that person for their actual blueprint, for their actual experience in life, and understand where they're coming from. Like,
it's okay.
So much anger dissolves. And you actually can see, oh, they're completely different from me, and they're meant to be that way.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
All right. Well, that's it.
Yeah. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
We wrapped this one up pretty good, Courtney. What'd you say?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And yeah, just many things to... I just saw this. Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted. But yeah, I'm not going to actually sing that right now. But Jesse was requesting that I sing Let It Go. So anyway.
We can close with that in a minute. I think the one thing here is I also want to add is releasing expectations as a muscle. The more that you do it, the better that you get at it. And you don't have to start with the big expectations. You don't have to start with those big global expectations about humans. You can start with little ones.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You can start with those little expectations and build that expectation muscle.
Yes. And my final thought is I want to talk directly to you, the viewer. And what's most important is that your expectations on yourself, that you release those. So just a reminder, you are loved. You are enough. Your voice does matter. The world needs what you have to offer. Insert whatever cliche. It's all true. So let that sink in a little bit. Yeah.
Enrique's bringing it. Anytime we feel uncomfortable about others is an opportunity to work on ourselves.
Yes. It's a direct red flag sign, actually. But yes, Enrique, thank you for mentioning that.
All right. Well, Courtney, sing us out, please.
Let it go. That's about all I'll do. I don't truly know the lyrics. I just know.
I
Let
gave you
the crowd
time to
go.
look it up.
Oh, trapped. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and sign off so you can't make me. But
We'll
love
be
you
back
guys.
on Friday.
Yes. See y'all on Black Friday. Woo.
Oh, yeah, it is Black Friday. Very special Black Friday episode coming.
Yes. We haven't planned it yet, but it'll be great.
Bye, everybody.